Hey guys, good to be back with you again. You know, those fun times where you see the newspaper and you see that one team has a better winning percentage than the other, but when you look at the games behind, the team in second place is listed as being 0 games behind. The team in first place is half a game behind. That's what we have right here. Good times and lots of fun, and that'll get your protractor out again. But of course, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk again about these rules. And this is the part that becomes complicated. You're going to see why I waited a little bit to talk about this. We're going back to the fielding rules page. We talked about the total fielding ratings in Skeetersoft NPIII. We talked about the infielders ratings. We talked about individual ratings. We did talk about the outfielder arm ratings. I think we are finally ready to cover the Little E fielding system. So the Little E fielding system is an innovation that is unique to Skeetersoft as far as I'm aware. It's a really interesting innovation. The reason why this exists largely is because it's hard to figure out what to do about errors, and it's hard to figure out like what the best approach is. So we'll go take a look here. I probably should have opened this up before, but you know how I am. We're going to take a look here at baseball history really quickly. And take a look at error rates. And if you haven't seen this already, you're going to see this here in a second. We'll look and see what the problem actually is. The problem that we have historically is that different seasons have different error rates, which makes it difficult, especially when we have a game that uses such a limited number of results to come up with their numbers. So we'll look here at all major leagues, and what we're looking at here is fielding. What we're looking at here specifically in fielding, though, is fielding percentage, right? And I will tell you that if you go back through baseball history, when you're looking here at the year, let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger here so you can see it. There we go. If you haven't done this before, then you can take a look and see what it's like. If you look here and sort everything by fielding percentage and look closely at the year, you will see that it's almost in chronological order. You have the 1870s, 1880s get mixed in, then the 1890s come along, 1900s mixed in with a little 1910s, the 1920s and the 30s are jumbled up through the 40s, 50s. Oh, there's 75. Don't know what happened there. A couple other 70 seasons, so 50s, 60s, and 70s are a little bit more jumbled up. And then near the end, we start getting to the 2000s and the 2010s and then the 2020s up until we get to the season with the highest fielding percentage overall of all time, which was this season, 2023. So that's a problem. Now, you do have, this looks like it's kind of a small, mediocre difference until you get to let's see, until you're really getting here to kind of the 1910s or something like that, maybe 1920s. It's a gradual increase in fielding percentage. In other words, the number of errors over time have gone down. That's an important thing to understand because in your game that is, APBA style, which is based on 36 dice rolls, you're going to have a really, really hard time making this sort of differentiation, right? We know that it's difficult because J. Richard Seitz tried to do this when he first created his 1908 season back in the late 1970s. Seitz decided to give players 2 error numbers instead of 1, which caused all sorts of chaos for season replays when you can go back and look at that, where the error numbers are going to be like totally off the charts and there's all sorts of problems and people are pulling their hair out over that, right? That's why we have the Little E system. The Little E system is a system that allows the creator of this game to have some control over how many errors are showing up in each game, and it works really, really well. So the way that this works is that for every single season in baseball history, there is a different dice roll range in which certain rolls will be in error if you do a re-roll for the Little E check. Basically, what happens is the same numbers will have little e's on the player cards, 12, 24, 25, 33, 34, 35, 43, 44, 45, right? And we can see this if we go look at like anybody's card, right? So here's Ed Apetitio's, the first one who stands out here. We look for those little e's. 12 is 24 with a little e, so there's a chance for little e reroll. 14, 34, and 54 all have it. The reason why these numbers exist is in part there's a little bit of marginal improvement you can get with, I think it's strikeouts on most boards, but the real reason why these numbers exist and are like this is because of the little e. 65, 35 also has a little e. 56, 34 has one, and then the 12 rating will always have the little e. That's how you can tell it's Skeetersoft. That's just sort of the way that it works. So what happens is when you roll a number, you roll the dice, right? And you get a certain number. and that number, the play result number, is followed by a little e. You check first to see if the play is affected by a walk or a strikeout, right? So first thing you're looking for is there like a W walk or a X strikeout or something? And if there's a strikeout, then we don't worry about little e, right? If there is not a strikeout or if there's not a walk, then we worry about a potential little e. So what happens is we take a look at the play result number on dice roll 53. That is always a 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, or a 21. 23 is treated differently here in Skeetersoft than it is in APBA. That's a long story. We can't get into that today. There's a whole lot of crazy stuff happening. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers that are error numbers. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 are error numbers. That's also what they are in APBA, and by the way, that's also what they are in National Pastime. That's where that comes from. Now, you look at this number, and you look at the fielding column of the defensive team. It's really the fielding column of the defensive player, right? Because look here, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. These are all numbers that are influenced by individual fielder ratings, which is on by default. You go look at that up on the board, and you see if it would be an error or not. So let's go look at it. We're going to go here to the boards. We're back here to this. We have the bases empty, and we rolled whatever, I don't know, something. And we look at the thing, and we see, oh, look, he has an 18 on 53. That's a potential error on the shortstop, even if it's fielding 1. Fielding 3, oh, he has like anything, it might be an error. However, these that are singles do not count as errors. It has to be reaching base via error. That's something I don't think that they write about here in the rules, but as I recall, that is a rule. If you have that, then you have to re-roll for a little e rule. What you're doing with a little e rule is you're seeing if it falls within this range or not. If the rule does fall within this range, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21, 22, or in the American League also 23, then you change to the little e result rather than changing to rather than keeping the original rule. Now, if it is an error, this isn't written here, what will happen is the game will also pop up and it might change that error number to a different error. There's an error re-randomizer that goes on behind the scenes as well, just so it's not too boring, right? So, for example, and I don't know if that happens first or second. It has to result in an error if it comes from the little e. That's the rule. For example, there's bases empty, nobody out. Play result number is 25, so you roll something, get a 12 for a 25, and there's an e. First, you have to check and see if 25 is a strikeout. If the pitcher does not have an X or better, then if that's the case, then we go look at play result number of 53. It happens to be an 18. 18 is a potential error under all fielding ratings for the shortstop on bases empty. So a dialog box pops up, and it says, roll the dice again. So you roll the dice again. If the second roll is within the range in this dice roll error range, 11 to 23 for the American League, 11 to 22 for the National League, if that happens, then the play result number is changed from 25 to an 18, and the batter will reach first base on the error. If it's outside the range, it remains at 25, out of first, second to first. Now, note, if an error is associated with a hit, say I was just wrong, ignore the hit and assume all play results are because of the error. So a single and an error to the right fielder becomes instead a two-base error. So I was actually wrong about that. Now, I'm going to show you something here. We're going to, let's see if I can remember how to do this. Actually, I have to go over here. No, this is wrong. We're going to try to change the active season here for a sec, if I can figure out how to do it. This is always a little bit embarrassing as I go through this and reveal how little I know because it's been a while. Here we go, change season. So I have a lot of different seasons. Let's look at 1982. So we saw on the chart that in 1982 you don't have quite as many errors. We open this up. It takes a little while. This is how it works. If it works like this in your computer too, great. You're one of us. Go over to options and rules, and here we are. And look at this. The error roll range from the American League is 11 to 11. You have to roll an 11 to get the little e. For the National League, it's an 11 through 12, right? So you can see what this allows you to do as the game designer, right? When we look at the cards themselves, so we're going to look at Ricky Henderson. Henderson still has all of these little e's. These little e's are still there. That one's still there, just as it was in the cards that we saw, and there's one on the 12 as well, right? All of that stuff is the same. Little e numbers are still there, but the difference is that the chances of you getting this air are very, very slim. The other thing is that fielding ratings overall are better, which means that in the case of Henderson, his role is 16 is his number, which is, I don't remember off the top of my head, center fielder, right? So if you have a bunch of guys who are center fielder with the rating 3, you're not going to have to worry about it because it's not going to be an error in many of these situations. So that's kind of the way it works. It gives a little bit of special sort of ability to the creator of the game to do some finicky work without adding a whole bunch of stuff on. And you think 1908 is bad, we'll look at 1900. I remember this because I played through a whole season. I have a lot of experience. Not nightmares, actually. It was actually kind of fun. You look here and look at this. AL error range is non-existent because there is no American League, which is wrong. There was an American League in 1900, but they don't have them carded. National League, it's from 11 to 33, right? So for the National League, like half of your roles are going to be a potential error. So there you have it. That's kind of the way that that's set up. And you can see that if you think about this closely enough, you'll figure that, you know, there's a lot of things that the game designer can do with a system like this. It is a little bit tedious, and you've seen this because it's like we keep rolling. After a while, you're like, I'm tired of rolling these little E's, right? I wanted to just do it automatically, right? Which probably would be the best way to go in the future if this game were to be further developed. But you know, having said that, it's not too bad, right? Nobody wants to do rerolls. Nobody wants to do extra stuff for a game like this. But if you have to do it, I would rather do this kind of reroll than the stuff you get with the APBA Master game. That's just my opinion, you know. But the APBA Master game is like you're trying to go a different base or you got a throw to make or something. You're always rerolling the dice. And you get to the point, at least for me, where you forgot where the first roll was and you have to go back to the charts again. You're like, wait, what was the number again? And you have to like keep notes while you're playing it. That's not much fun, especially if you're trying to play a full season, right? Anyway, there you go. That's how the little e system works in Skeetersoft. I think when you look at it closely and you think about it, you can figure out why it exists as well. Pretty cool system. It's very, very innovative, and it goes to show that there's still a lot of innovation and new things that can happen in the world of board baseball games. There you have it. I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.